All right, guys. So last week we worked a lot with, we talked a lot about geometric and organic shapes and understanding different lines, okay? So what we're going to do this week, or starting next week, we're going to start today, but next week we're going to be focusing more on forms. So what we're going to do today is we're going to convert a couple of different shapes into forms. So go ahead and put your paper vertically in front of you. That means it's a long ways. And then what I'm going to have you do is kind of put a little line going down the middle of the page, going across the middle of the page, so you divide it into two halves, the top half and the bottom half. Okay, so the top half, what we're going to do is we're going to change a couple of geometric shapes into geometric forms. Okay, so first at the top of the page, we're going to write geometric form. Geometric forms are three-dimensional figures, okay? And just like geometric shapes, they are precise and mathematical. It means they have to be a certain way, okay? They're precise and they're mathematical. The difference between geometric form and a geometric shape are these are 3D, the other ones are 2D. So they have three ways you can measure it. They have length, width, and depth. In math, you guys say length, width, and height. In art, we say length, width, and depth. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and convert. We're going to change a geometric shape, such as a square. Let's go ahead and draw a square. You want your lines that are opposite each other to be parallel to each other. So these two lines are parallel. And you want them to be as close to even as possible. These two lines will be parallel. Okay, so we've got a square, and that is a geometric shape, which is 2D. We're going to change it to a form and make it 3D. Okay, in order to do that, we need to create the depth. Okay, we have length and width, but we don't have depth. So in order to create depth, we're going to use a diagonal line, because a diagonal line creates depth. So at this corner right here, we're going to go ahead and make a diagonal line that goes up that way. So it's slanted. This is straight and that slants up. This one's going to slant just like that. So they need to be pretty much running in the same direction. These two lines are going to be parallel. So that one's going to also slant up like that. So now we've got two lines going in the same direction. And we're going to get a third line. This line here is also going to go in the same direction. So this one's also going to be slanted that way. So all these lines are parallel to each other. Okay, in order for it to be a cube, that means these lines that are going across are all parallel to each other. So this goes straight across, this is a horizontal straight across, and this is also a horizontal line straight across. Okay, now if you happen to make this line too long, you just want to make sure this line and this line are straight across each other. Okay, they're parallel, and you can just erase anything that's extra. Okay, now these lines are the ones that give the height, so they're going to go up and down, and this back side is also going to go straight up and down. Okay, and also again, if you went too long, and what I mean by that is if you did something like this and you went like this, these two will connect like that, but this one you don't want to connect it over here. You want to go straight down, and then you can just erase anything that you did that was too extra. Okay, so we want to make that cube about as even as possible. All your lines that are going across should be parallel to each other, and all your lines that are showing height should be parallel to each other, and all the lines that are showing depth, which are your diagonal lines, should be parallel to each other. Okay. Once we do that, we're going to go ahead and create a little light a light source. So let's say that there's a light on this side of of your work. That means the light's going to be coming from this side over. Okay, so the opposite side will be the dark side. So with your pencil, we're going to go ahead and shade this side kind of dark. You don't have to press so hard, but you do want to go ahead and get a nice dark value in there and kind of make your lines disappear because it's about the same darkness as your lines. Okay, so we want to go ahead and do that. That's going to be the dark side. I'm going to say that this side probably get the most light, so I'm going to kind of work on the front side. It's going to be a little bit lighter than this. So we'll just shade this side right here very lightly, and I like to put my finger here in the way, so when I hit that thumb, I stop and I don't get outside the lines. So we're going to shade this one. Just don't press as hard. And you should have another value here. And then on the top, we're just going to very lightly shade it up. And you fill the whole space up, okay? And now you've got 3 different values, a light side, a medium side, and a dark side. Whenever you have a form, the light always picks up different, okay? So it's not the same thing as a shape. A shape is flat. So if the light hits the shape, it gets this shape evenly. So we're going to go ahead and on this side, we're going to make a cast shadow. So if the light is coming from the side, which is where I want it to be, I want it to be on the side, that means the shadow is going to come this way. So we're going to make a straight shadow as if the light's coming straight from this side. Okay, that's going to be where the light's coming from. So we're going to have, this is going to go straight across. It's not going to bend. It's going to go straight across. And then from this back corner is also going to be a parallel line straight across. And then the way this slants here, that's the way this slants here. It's going to keep the shape of this square. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and shade in this shadow. And this we can make a pretty dark value. And we'll just shade that in. Now you've got a cube. All right, the next one we're going to do is we're going to turn a triangle into a pyramid. So go ahead and draw a triangle that's going to look like this. Make our little point at the top, and we'll make a nice straight line going across here. Now that's flat, so we got to create the depth. We have to create the third dimension because we are only in 2 dimensions right here. That's 2D. We want to change it to 3D, so we're changing from a shape to a form. So from a triangle to a triangular prism. Make a diagonal line because diagonal lines show depth, and that's what we're getting, the third dimension. So that's going to slant upwards. This is straight across, slant up. Then go ahead and attach the point straight to that corner. And now we're going to get ourselves a pyramid. And if the light's coming from this side, this is the opposite side. And we're going to shade, this is going to be our dark side. So we're going to shade that up. And we aren't going to shade it the darkest possible, but we are going to shade it up pretty dark. So try to make those lines on the edges disappear. We'll shade that up. And then the front side, we're going to shade it a little lighter. This opposite side that we can't see is the side that is getting the most light. So again, I'll use my thumb as a guide so I can go a little faster. When I hit my thumb, I go back, and I have a nice little shade here with a light value. All right. Then what we'll do is we'll create a cast shadow, just like we created a cast shadow over here. Right at the bottom, you go ahead and make a nice dark line. This is going to, it goes upwards there, so it's a slant. So we're going to slant up just a tad bit. So it's just barely going slanted up just a little, because this would be straight. And I want it to slant up just a little. And then this is going to slant and connect over here. So now we got these two connected, and that's going to be our shadow. And that we can go ahead and make pretty dark. If we're trying to really be super realistic, we probably wouldn't get so dark, but for right now, as we're practicing, these nice little dark shadows work. And now you've got a shadow. And whenever an object touches a surface, there's always a dark line. So having that dark line right here on the bottom and over here on the bottom is a good idea. Okay, so you can go back and make sure you get those in there. And then next thing we're going to do, a cylinder. Okay, basically you're using the top of a circle, okay, which is going to actually be an ellipse. So we're going to make like a flat circle like this. It's called an ellipse. Go ahead and make a flat circle like that. And then what we'll do is we're going to make a line that comes straight down from the edge. It's going to go straight vertical. So that's going to be up and down like that. And then this side's going to be up and down parallel to that one. Okay, so one mistake that I see a lot is we have this circle like this and people go like that and like this. Don't leave that extra space. Okay, you want to go right from the furthest part of the ellipse down. Okay, from the furthest part of the ellipse down. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and connect the bottom. We want these to be about the same length. And then we're going to connect the bottom with a curved line that looks like this because it is a cylinder. And we're going to go ahead and do a curved line like a smile right here at the bottom. That way we know this is round. All right. So that being said, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and shade. If the light is coming from this side, we're going to go ahead and shade. This is going to be our dark side, and it's going to gradually get lighter. So it's not going to be like these where there are two different faces. That's one plane, this is another plane. That's one plane, this is another plane, that's another plane. This is one plane that curves. So because it curves, the shading needs to gradually get lighter. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to hold my pencil so I can use the side of my lead. Okay, and I kind of lay my pencil down. And then I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to start from this edge. And I'm going to make some curved lines that start to come curving inward. And they kind of stop at almost about halfway. Okay. And once we start getting these curves in here, these lines, we'll stop like that. And what we could do is we can use our finger to kind of blend. We're going to blend from the dark side to the light side. So we'll blend here, up and down. And we'll blend this over to the light side. Okay. And I like the way that it looks, but I'm missing a little bit at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually change fingers here. And I'm going to go up and down on the dark side. You always want to go from the dark side. That's the side that has the lead. And curve into the light side. Okay. So now you've got yourself a little blend from the dark side to the light side. Now if you got a lot of lead on the outside of your shape, go ahead and erase it and clean that up. We don't want to have all those markings. And then in the top, we'll go ahead and shade the top just lightly all the way across, and we'll just act like this is a closed cylinder. If it were open, we would shade it differently. But we're going to act like it's a closed cylinder, so that's a flat surface up there. Okay? And this side is getting the most light. This side of the cylinder is getting the most light. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our we create a shadow here. So right in the center here, we're going to make a line that goes straight across. It's going to kind of resemble a rectangle, except the top is going to be curved. And then we're going to go a little bit higher than the corner. So that's the corner right there. A little higher than the corner because the bottom's round. And I'm going to bring out another parallel line that goes across like this. And I'm going to connect it with a curve just like this bottom part is. So I'm going to go like that. And that will be the shadow. So where it's touching the ground, we'll go ahead and or touching the surface. We'll go ahead and darken that up. It's only touching there. That's actually going up, so we're not going to go there.